Welcome to the Step Up Podcast. Insights from experts to step up your business, your life, and your wealth. Step Up is provided by Agency Bloom, today's #1 superhero for wholesale services to digital agencies. Get ready to propel your business from ordinary to extraordinary. Here's your host, Matt Coffey.
Hey, welcome to the Step Up Show. Yes, that's right. We've changed the format of the That Marketing Show over to Step Up as we've moved more into the wholesale market to help support growing agencies and digital businesses out there who are help supporting other customers. We really have a great feeling that this is going to be an awesome year. 2015, we are going to see a doubling of our business, and I'm hoping that everybody watching this show is going to double their business or even greater. So let's get right to the point. I want to talk about 2015, the SEO predictions. Now, we had a great year in 2014, a lot of ups and downs with these crazy penguins, pandas, hummingbirds, whatever. But I think what you find in 2015 is a little bit more stable, of stabilization of Google because of a lot of mixing of things that are going on. Let's talk about them in reverse order. Number 10, multiple types of rankings. Now, we're finding that on page 1, the SERPs result, we're seeing a lot of testing being done by Google right now to try and figure out what people really want to imbibe after they've got their SERPs result. So they've got knowledge graph, we've got answers, we've got citation results, we've got all sorts of things, videos. So we're seeing a different set of organic, or you could say just knowledge pieces coming up in the SERPs results. So what we're going to find is that over the time, we're going to see more people interested in ranking multiple things about their business or about their services within that page 1, so that just not their organic listing comes up, that's their website, in the results for a particular query. Number 9, content will be scraped more by Google to get this knowledge graph built. So you're going to be giving answers on your blog or on your website. Google's going to be scraping these answers and providing the answers anyway. So we have to be careful about this knowledge graph that Google's building. It's the double standard that everybody talks about where, yes, Google's a search engine, but they're also providing knowledge. And so they might be getting the answer to your question built into their structure as they move along. So we're going to see a lot more of that answering of questions as Google's knowledge base increases as it pulls up all the data from all the things that everybody's doing on the internet, including service and product providers. Now, number 8. More of the Internet of Things starts to come online. All of these pieces of data and connected world that we have, buses and travel times and all these things now get incorporated into search results. So you see more of the things besides just businesses and search results coming through as part of the kind of SERPs result we get for when we ask a question. And since a lot of our questions are now semantically matched to what Google's algorithm is driving, we start to see more of the connected tissue of all the things on the internet that are being brought on. Now, everything today has a computer chip and a Wi-Fi connection. You're going to see more and more results that relate to things. So, number 7, Bing and Apple become more of our world, or more of the digital marketing world that is. So we're already, it's funny I mentioned this one because it's really already happening. I've used Bing now on my Mac to search stuff for just like a month, and I completely forgot about Google. It's like I don't even go back to Google unless I'm looking for something specific that is related to something I'm working on for a client. I'm using Bing right now as my search engine in my Mac, just because it defaulted to that. I just never switched it back. It's fine. The results work just as well. And Apple itself is going to be, one of those pieces where people are going to want to, let's say, search for a podcast, search for something that's relating to an Apple product. These things are now becoming more and more part of our world, as Apple Maps now is a big driver in how we go to customers and help them out with getting traffic from other sources besides the big G. Now, number 6, no more massive updates. I don't see any more massive Penguin 2.0 hummingbirds. This stuff is just, it's already built into the algorithm. I think that Google's kind of done with these massive updates. They've done enough. They have had collateral damage enough that they've kind of figured out that, well, maybe these massive changes to the algorithm that just whack these guys on the very end that are spammers, isn't really worth the collateral smashing of all the other things that has to now be reappropriated and rethought about in the algorithm to get to a fact that, most people, honestly, they're just not in this business. They don't even care. They either do Google paid ads or they're just fine with the listings as they are. They're really thinking, as Google has said, they're looking at the bell curve, and what's going to affect that bell curve. There's so many other things that affect that giant bell curve other than those little spammy guys on the side where you have these 2.1% changes of people who have manipulated the engine. Who cares? There's so much more in the bell curve to affect, and we're going to talk about that in the next coming up through this process. Now, going to number 5, I think that kind of drives another thing about SEO is that analytics becomes less and less informative because Google's trying to basically get, they'd be better off just killing analytics, and then we would be very challenged to understand what's going on in an account rather than just kill off some sort of 2.0 penguin or panda attack that delivers some sort of small percentage of ranking factor, where if you took away my data, well, now you're really screwing me because I don't even know how to explain stuff to customers. So I think you'll see analytics be less and less applicable as time goes on because it just seems like Google would rather have you pay for that data, pay-per-click ads and so forth, than, and that's the big bell curve, right? So that's really, I think, what you're going to see is less analytics. Number 4, and this is where I'm going to start to get a little rough, I mean, believe me or not, Apple announces a search engine. Okay, they may even buy Yahoo or whatever. I don't think that's necessarily the answer. I think they're going to probably try to do it through their own proprietary, or they'll have a major shift in some partnership arrangement. But Google and Apple are going to be, boom, crashing each other into the head. They are the big dogs. We know that one of the things that Apple needs to do is change some of their momentum. They've been really device focused. They're coming back. I can see applications and the whole kind of world that Google was trying to build with Google Plus. Apple's looking at that and going, well, they probably had a good chance at it. Maybe it's our opportunity to step up. I think that's kind of the mentality. A big social piece, big paid piece, Google paid, all that stuff sort of makes sense for them to have a search engine and then sort of get their hitches into how people process their dollars through that whole mechanism. So search, certainly going to see something, I think, within Apple to be announced in 2015. Again, there's a prediction, so don't take it as a blind word, but there's going to be either a partnership or an announcement. Number 3, Google Plus is dead. D-E-A-D. Effing dead. Effing waste of time. I hate Google Plus. It's pale in comparison to every social media platform. Why? Why, Google? Why don't you just stop the madness and just call it a day? Look, the whole team is gone out of Cupertino or wherever they hide. Nobody uses Google Plus. I don't use it anymore. I've just given up. And I think it's really, Google tried, and this is the 3rd, I think, iteration of their social platform. I don't know what to say other than it's just something that was a great attempt at trying to do too many things at too much time. Keep the Hangouts, that's cool. Other than that, sayonara. Speaking of dead, Matt Cutts, you're dead. Sorry, Matt, if you're listening to this. You're pointless now. I mean, it's gone. They're not coming back. I mean, the spam thing, it was a flash, for a couple of 3 years, and, everybody bowed to Matt Cutts' world. I honestly think this is done. A lot of people take his word as verbatim. There's a lot of hiding going on, in my personal opinion. I think it's evolved. Search is evolving. The big bell curve is more important to Google than the little, endpoints. Really what our world is going to be driven by is, really thinking about the most important thing here, which is the number 1. So number 2 was Matt Cutts is dead. Number 3 was Google Plus is dead. But keywords are dead. Semantic search is on. So semantic search is the number 1 thing that people in this business, in the SEO business, in the digital marketing business, need to concentrate their efforts on. There's no question, without a doubt, that semantical of phrases are really what needs to be done. Keyword by keyword by keyword ranking. It's over. It's really the phrases. Where did I buy flowers? Where do I buy flowers? How do I buy flowers? What is the best place to buy flowers? Those phrases that are semantically matched by either the fact that Siri is coming aboard and these other voice input systems are coming through that are driving the mobile search as part of our entire search jargon. The semantic search strategy is where I would put most of my dollars if I was you, and a digital marketer that you are, I'm glad you're doing it yourself. All right, we'll see you in the next episode. Welcome to the new Step Up Show.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Step Up Podcast with your host, Matt Coffey. We'll see you next time.